Hi everyone. Today we will be performing a dance to the song entitled My Sunshine. The dance has an underlying theme which I will leave up to the interpretation of the audience. But as a quick hint, the dance is about learning to overcome issues that have come your way. This is Senior 1 Dance performing a self-choreographed piece by the entire class.
Good morning, and welcome to Walker Chapel Week. We started off this week with a very well-written chapel speech from Aline about the importance of staying positive, and her message was the inspiration for the week's theme of looking on the bright side.
From the middle school to the activity in senior chapel, we have tried to make this chapel week fun and engaging, and we hope that you take something away from the service today.
We want to start off this morning by thanking all the people who have worked so hard to prepare this chapel. From Rev's visit to Walker House a few weeks ago during a Sunday evening house council meeting,
to Mr. B's dedicated contribution to a wonderful anthem, and to Sodexo who helped prepare a special surprise.
and to all of the amazing Walker House members who are sharing their thoughts and experiences with you this week. Their spirit and positivity is something Walker House faculty get to experience on a regular basis, and we are thankful that they are proud to share it with the Appleby community today.
We start with gratitude today, as it is one of the easiest ways to see the bright side, and we hope that you will live in the moment here with us right now. So on behalf of Walker House, welcome to Walker House Chapel.
Please bow your heads for the opening prayer. To the overlooking sun, let us not dwell on the past, but focus on the future. We thank the sun for waking us up every morning and filling our days with brightness and light. Guide us through our worst moments and challenge us in moments of ease. Let us believe that everything happens for a reason and that there is a brighter side to every situation.
God, or Allah, has made this world to test us. The closest people to God, such as the prophets and messengers, including Prophet Moses, Prophet Jesus, and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them, lived the most difficult lives. They taught to establish prayer and to bear patiently. God will reward with an eternity of ease and happiness in heaven. It is in optimism that hope is born. It is in optimism that regret is eased. It is in optimism that goals are accomplished. So be optimistic despite difficulty. You will be guided step by step to happiness, joy, and satisfaction.
Hi everyone, my name is Sydney and this is Miranda, and we are going to be singing a little duet for everyone today. Hope you guys enjoy. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Let it run free. Oh, you know how I feel. Sun on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterfly all having fun, you know what I mean. Oh, sleep in peace when day is done, 'cause that's what I mean. And this whole world is a new world in a cold world for me. And I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. The sense of the pines, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is all mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a
response to the litany is in bold. Help us to see the positive in situations which are beyond our control.
Guide us in letting go of what we think our lives should look like so that we can celebrate what they have become.
We always strive to live on the brighter side.
Allow us to understand the role of the sun and how its purpose is to give us a fresh start each day.
Guide us to the light at the end of life's tunnels that is always there but is hard to achieve.
May we always strive to live on the brighter side.
Help us adapt our mindset to see all glasses half full, not half empty.
Help us radiate good vibes for not only ourselves but all of those that surround us.
May we always strive to live on the brighter side.
Help us in understanding how a difficult process only leads to a greater sense of achievement in the end.
Let us understand how we are the captain of our own ship and have the power to react and navigate around our surroundings.
May we always strive to live on the brighter side.
And a hush fell over the crowd, and we began our sermon. Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Walker House Chapel Week. When Marcy and I were thinking about what to talk about, we struggled for quite some time. You know, there's just so many amazing things about both of us.
But before we could go down that path, we had to think. We have such a peaceful roommate life that there really isn't anything worthwhile to talk about. Honestly, we just watch Netflix, online shop, snack too much, never leave the room. We're basically an old married couple.
Indeed. When considering this sermon, instead of talking about our peaceful lives, we thought about all the readings and poems we would hear, Aline's chapel speech, the preludes, and the litany. And now, we're here to lend our thoughts towards the theme of the brighter side and really tie it all together with our story. The story of Marcy and Molly and the dark web, but more on that later.
Something that we can all relate to is first impressions. You know, we all have them, we all get them, and some of the most important relationships can be sparked because of that. And the thing is, when you meet someone for the first time, they often present what's best about them to you, their bright side.
Tell me about my bright side, Marcy.
I first met Molly on my shadow day, way back in grade 8. At the time, I was quiet to a point where people thought I was mute, awkwardly tall, and just in the prime of my restless teenager phase. But that's the day I met my future roommate. I'll be honest with you. When I met Molly, I was intimidated. Although she didn't and still doesn't really fall into my line of vision, her personality was 50 feet tall. I was in awe of how she was fiercely herself and authentic, something I wasn't doing at the time. She intimidated me because she had everything I wanted for myself. She was confident, outgoing, unafraid, and true. If we were both Crayola crayons, she would have been a fiery orange and I would have been just a somber blue, you know? I admired that then, and I admire it now. Even though she was but a wee Scottish lass, I'm telling you, she left a lasting impression.
On the flip side, I too had a similar experience. While Marcy was intimidated, though, I was terrified. It was after middle school chapel when this tall, beautiful, and sophisticated girl turned to give me a warm hello. I froze. Why was this graceful creature talking to me? I felt like an insignificant little tortellini as compared to Marcy, who was a strong, bold fettuccine. I noted that she was so assertive and brilliant, and it was clear that she was the kind of girl who gives her all in anything she puts her heart to. While this is an amazing trait and something I love about Marcy, it was really scary at the time. It baffles me, the fact that this awesome human being was destined to become my roommate and best friend. And although we had these great first impressions of each other, our friendship didn't actually pick up until our grade 11 capstone class. We ended up being in a group together to research and present a topic of our choice, and it could have been anything. So, naturally, we decided we wanted to stop crime on the dark web.
In hindsight, we realized we are not the right people to talk about that kind of topic. But in any case, we researched and wrote for months, and soon enough, our presentation day had arrived. So let me break it down for you. We had a strict time limit of 8 minutes, so we decided we should each talk for around 2, and we allowed for a little emergency buffer time. But here's what happened.
I was incredibly nervous, and without thinking, I shattered my time limit of 2 minutes and spoke for a total of 5, leaving no time for my group mates. To make matters worse, the presentation was videotaped. Later that school year, we had the pleasure of re-watching it. Oof. I took note of Marcy's expression in the recording as she glanced over at me repeatedly, confusion written on her face. I felt foolish. Without realizing it, I had angered my group mates. I couldn't imagine what was going on through Marcy's type A mind as the presentation took a turn for the worst. But here's the bright side to that situation. I am certain that hardship and challenge can lead to profound understanding. Marcy was quite upset after the presentation, but she was upset not because of my character, but because she cared too. Like me, she wanted the presentation to be excellent. Marcy is a sophisticated and organized person, and I see that now. That was an important learning curve for myself because I became aware of Marcy's character.
Remember that first impression I had of Molly? I picked up on the fact that she puts her heart into everything. She's outgoing and passionate. But when she gets scared or stressed, her fear can hold her back. But those good things about her, her bright side, will always win out. And together, we found the bright side of the situation. What we're trying to say is that not only does every situation have a bright side, but so does every person. And with every person, their flaws have a bright side too. So thinking back now, I thought I was showcasing a lot of my flaws on that shadow day. But Molly, bless her heart, saw the good in me then and the good in me now. And I couldn't be luckier to have a best friend like her.
You know, if it were up to me, Marcy should always be my roommate. I'm entirely certain that leaving Marcy will be the most heartbreaking aspect of graduating, but such is life. If she can't be my roommate for life, well, maybe she can be my maid of honor or something like that. In any case, humans are naturally empathetic. In all of us, there is a desire to understand each other. I may be a size 6.5, but I was happy to try on Marcy's shoes and walk around in them. Through wanting to understand her and her walk in life, I gained a sense of empathy. Because I could understand her, I could see her bright side, no matter what.
Through open-mindedness, we are able to appreciate every side to someone's character and allow it to make us better. That empathy can drive us to see their bright side, but having an open mind can allow it to change us for the best. Molly has made me more comfortable in my own skin and being confident in who I am, because I was open to her over-the-topness. You have to not only be able to see others' bright side, but really take the good from it, so that can have a meaningful impact on your life.
Honesty is a beautiful thing. When you are entering a relationship, whether it be with a friend, family member, or significant other, definitely put your bright side forward. With so little time and so much to love, cherish, and experience on this earth, don't waste time fooling yourself or others. Be authentic and be yourself for the betterment of your life and the world around you, especially in our little world of Appleby. Using all of these values, we as a community can all value our differences and the bright sides we have to offer. Now, this isn't just something we're pulling out of thin air. It's been proven by real people doing actual research that having a positive mindset makes you more successful in your activities. We've also talked a lot about this in chapel. Positive psychology and mindfulness can be really powerful tools in finding the bright side.
Those three values, empathy, open-mindedness, and honesty, are the core values for Walker House this year. By living our lives by those values, as individuals, roommates, and sisters, we all showcase the brighter side in our home. But let me just say this. The brighter side is not a state of thinking. It is a state of being. The brighter side is not an action, but an existence. It is an essence of what we are, and it should be shared and expressed. Having this in your life makes it so much better. Cliché, but it makes the sun shine a little bit brighter. Sharing that good feeling is really important, and we really hope that through the sermon, we have done just that. Thank you.
everyone, I'm Safa.
And I'm. This is. There we go. And I'm Sid. That's so much better.
We hope you've enjoyed Walker Chapel so far and have been able to reflect on the various readings and prayers throughout the week.
The Walker sisters have put in a lot of effort to truly showcase our theme of looking on the brighter side of life. And we in Walker strive to achieve this goal in everything that we do.
In case you didn't already know by the many Snapchat stories and Instagram posts, Safa and I are roommates this year, and we've been best friends since meeting at Appleby in grade 9. We've always looked forward to doing a sermon, and every year while watching the other sermons, we nudge each other and say, we totally have to do that when we're in grade 12.
Well, our grade 12 year came faster than we imagined, and we were given the opportunity to do a sermon. We were ecstatic, except for the fact that, well, we ran into a slight problem. We had absolutely no idea where to begin. So when we began writing, we quickly crumpled up our first draft,
Then our second draft.
then just deleted our third and started with a blank page.
Our first instinct for writing the sermon was to talk about Safa and Sid's story, the classic backstory of how we met, how we became best friends, and how much Safa learned to love me.
The last one's still pretty debatable.
See, the thing was, Safa and I didn't have a single story. We had no recollection of how we met or became best friends at all. So, when we were asked questions about our friendship, the conversation went a little bit like this.
So when did you two meet? We have no idea.
So, did you have any classes together?
Nope, not a single one. What do you two have in common? Couldn't tell ya.
Well, I guess you could say we're both kind of funny.
Well, one of us is. But anyways, to be completely honest, we are both very different people and have very little in common. We're both from different backgrounds, we have different beliefs, and we even have a different skill set. So it's sort of weird that I feel so connected to someone who is so different from me. But that's what I love most about our friendship. Our differences have always managed to bring us closer together and allowed us to grow as people and find an appropriate balance in our lives as friends. Sid and I have had many differences in the past, whether it be on how we choose to do certain things or what we should wear. We've always had a different outlook on things, and I would have never imagined that someone with a different perspective could make such a significant impact on the person that I am today. I know it sounds super cliche, but it's true.
I couldn't agree more. Knowing we had such different personalities, I originally assumed we couldn't connect, and I definitely would have never thought that we would be here standing in front of you all today, together. The easier route was to find someone who had similar attributes and passions to me, a given connection. I could have met her and said, oh, she's really not like me, and we don't have that much in common, so there's not point in getting to know her. But I took the opportunity and looked on the brighter side thinking, hey, she might not be that bad, so why not? And thank God I did, because it ended up working out for the best. Although we didn't have the same interests, I ended up learning a lot. I learned about her culture, different traits, and most importantly, she taught me a lot about myself. I ended up experiencing firsthand that opposites can attract.
So, as Sid and I's friendship progressed, we obviously got to know each other better. And I learned that she is probably the most optimistic person that I know. She strongly believes that everything happens for a good reason, but more importantly, she sees the good in each person she meets. In every situation, she sees the light at the end of the tunnel and allows everyone around her to feel the same way. For her, this is normal. It's her natural instinct to act this way. She always sees the positive side of things, even when it may be unrealistic.
Safa, on the other hand, likes to see the more realistic side of things, whether it's good or bad. She's a realist, meaning that she looks at things as they are and deals with them in a practical manner, typically not displaying a whole lot of emotion. This is a personality I originally found, well, intimidating in a person. She never showed a whole lot of emotion, and throughout the years I've known her, I probably only seen her cry twice. Although this was intimidating at first, I eventually realized how strong this made her as a person, which motivated me to develop a bit of that realistic personality as well. She balances my emotional side and gives me confidence.
Sid and I are not your ideal best friends. We don't have that perfect friendship story where we connect instantly because we're literally the same person. This being said, our dysfunctional friendship has allowed us both to grow so much as individuals. Though I'm more of a pessimist, being friends with Sid for the past 3 years has allowed me to also see the brighter side of everything.
And although I'm an optimist, Being friends with Safa allows me to be more realistic when needed.
That's the best thing about our friendship. Our differences allow us to balance each other out, and ultimately, my strengths are Sid's weaknesses, and vice versa.
So, if you've zoned out for the past 5 minutes or so, here are our main takeaways.
Be open-minded. Push yourself to try new things and to meet new people. Like when Sid and I both pushed ourselves to become more comfortable with each other's unique personality traits.
Be honest with yourself and with others around you. In order to fully be true to ourselves, Safa and I were honest with who we are, which allows us to see the brightest sides of each other.
Be empathetic. Empathy is putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Whenever one of us is feeling down, we're both there to pick each other up and help the other person see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Open-mindedness, honesty, and empathy are values that work in harmony to provide each person with the necessities to live on the brighter side of life. I know it's easier said than done, but it is essential that these values are remembered throughout our everyday lives.
These are values that we choose to live by in Walker, to help us stay positive and live a harmonious life. They help us create an encouraging, loving, and accepting Walker community that has become our home away from home.
Like Gandhi once stated, keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words.
Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior.
Keep your behavior positive because your behavior becomes your habits.
Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values.
Keep your values positive
because your values become your destiny.
Charlotte and I will be reading a poem by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise.
If you could make one heap of all your winnings and risk it all on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your long turn after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on.
Please bow your heads for the closing prayer. To the luminescent moon, we give thanks for the light that shines in the dark. In the times where we struggle and cannot seem to find our way, the moon guides us and reaches even the darkest corners of the world. Let us acknowledge that the sky may not be moonlit every night, but it'll always be there to navigate us through the difficulties in life.
This year in chapel, we have a theme and we have a challenge. The theme, of course, is lifting your voice. The challenge is to find, when we do student-led chapels, to find the creative voice and think outside the box and find creative new ways in which to do things in this space. And I think we can safely say that Walker House, through their amazing work this week, they've done both really well. They've lifted their voices through song, through dance, through the sermons, through everything, the prayers, all this way in which to bring a very important and powerful message around looking on the bright side of life. And the second thing is to be creative and think outside the box and find a way in which, not to entertain for entertain's sake, but find a way to engage us. And I think leading with Aline and her incredible work, she's an incredibly organized person, the House Council and the entire House actually, and all the work they put in, I think they deserve a big round of applause for their great work. I think the next house up is Paul's house, and I keep looking over at Braden, and he has this look of, oh, okay, that's kind of like the challenge is out there for Paul's house. He just has that look about him. So we'll wait to see what happens in the new year. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, keep your hearts and minds in the knowledge and love of God and of His Son, Jesus Christ. And the blessing of God Almighty, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer be with you this day and forevermore. Amen. We should stand for the final hymn.